Hi guys, it's James here. Today's a bit of a different video. Today I'm doing a bit of work on the hot tub. I've had to do a bit of a maintenance, a bit of a clean out, get the filter cleaned out and stuff like that. It's had a lot of use over the weekend and it's just that time really where it needs a bit of a clean. Something that struck me though is that it's not your standard hot tub that we've got here. This one was built a couple of years ago. It's a really good one, to be fair. It's not quite like your your fiberglass shop built ones you can buy. This one's being built out of concrete and ceramic tiled inside. It's quite deep. Comfortably with this one, there's no moulded seats, so you can socialise a lot more in this one. And comfortably, well, we had 7 people in here a couple of nights ago, and I don't think you'd probably want really more than 7. But it is a good hot tub nonetheless. So this is the hot tub switched on at the moment. I'm not sure what noise you're able to pick up. It is quite a noisy hot tub because the main gubbins for this is actually in that box. You can see just there. That's where all the control is, the pumps, the filters, the pipe work, all the motors, everything's all in there. Nowadays, when you buy a system, they tend to be kind of within the underneath these panels here, which probably makes a bit of sense. But unfortunately, all this on ours, all the perimeter, the outside, that's all solid concrete. So let's go and take a closer look. So the main controls that we use are these two here. Now, if I turn that control off, that's now stopped just the air. There's a pump in there that provides warm air. It's like a blue pump just for air. There's got heating elements inside, and that blows the air in to give you all the bubbles, and it's warm as well, so it doesn't chill down your water. This other switch here turns down a lot of the spar jets. So it's now just going to be on the basic spar jets, which is what you use for the filtration, for the cleaning. When you've got this on, which is the spar jets, you can see it gets the spar going to increase the air, and I'm not really sure why on the advantage of this. It doesn't make that much difference, but if you unscrew this cap here, you can actually hear the air being sucked in, and suddenly it does increase the air slightly. But your main feature is this switch here, which turns on the air. Takes a few seconds, to get going. I think it's because the air pipes obviously fill up with water when there's no air, so the pump's got to generate enough energy and enough air to actually force the water out, and to keep the channels open effectively from water in order to get the bubbles to come up. But there you go, they start coming up. And they get a little bit more vicious. If you can hear the pump going, I don't know. Like so. Now, turn it off. It's an oldish system really, because nowadays it's all electronic touch screens, isn't it? And you can control the temperature from it. You control what jets you want, all the lighting and all those sorts of things. With this device, there's one built-in light, which is the very bottom, which again is controlled from a switch on there. But we have separate lights, LED lights, that we just place in, built-in batteries, remote control, and you can alter them, turn them on and off in the colours from outside the water. But it's a very good tub. It's very sociable. We don't want to change it or get rid of it, but I'm thinking it's probably time now to upgrade. These switches here are pneumatics, so there's basically just tubes to go under the ground into the main control box there. So you're not having any contact directly with any electricity. There's no actual switches. When you push these, it knocks some contactors, which then turns the relays on, and that's how this works. So it's very safe. Just time for an upgrade, and the main reason for that is inside there, and I'll show you that now. Okay, so this is the main control box. If I lift it up for you and show you what we have, you'll see what I mean. So what we have here is the main electrical box, which is this device here. This has got the main switch on. turn that on. That's then turn around the very first speed of the motor, which is basically the the filtration system, that being the pump there. And you can hear the water being circulated and pumping around. If you want to turn the heating element on, we flick that switch there. That has now turned the heater on. This being the heater. We're currently running a 3 kilowatt heater, so as the water passes through, it heats it up. It takes quite a while to heat this up from scratch. You're probably talking about a day or two, depending on the temperature you want it. I think this is set to switch off at 34 degrees, 35 degrees Celsius. I think the maximum it will do is 40 degrees. With hot tubs, you're not supposed to have it any hotter than, I think it's advised to be about 35 degrees. It's got various safety features built in. It's got a built-in flow switch, so if for some reason the pump stops working, the elements will automatically switch off rather than just bubbling away the water and then melting any pipe work. So that's what that does. I'll turn that heater off. And then the rest of the controls you've seen, they're on the side of the tub itself. This big tube here, this is all part of the air pump. That blue pump there pumps the air up, down, underground and into the tub. So obviously we're not getting any backflow of water, which I think is why that was built as high as it is. Filter there. There's another little safety switch there. Again, that's another flow switch. So that's like a safety cutout. So if the water stops pumping around, again, the relays will be switched off inside the control box to cut all power to the pump. The original heating element was, I think, a 7 kilowatt heater, which is what you can see just down there. Now, unfortunately, that had an issue with it. Oh, sorry, knocking the camera. That had an issue with it last year, whereby the water, the flow stopped, the pump had switched off, but the flow switch hadn't kicked in, and it continued heating up, and it finally just melted through the pipe work. So rather than taking all that off and replacing it, it seemed more logical just to get some fiberglass the top of the pipe work, which then stopped any water leaking out. I cut all the cabling off, which you can see just to the front of that panel there. So that's completely isolated from any electrics. We found a good slot here on this side where I could buy this pump and fix it in. Now, unfortunately, because of this pipe work, it's all, whether they've gone for metric or non-metric, but none of the pipes were compatible. And trying to get everything to fit into that gap without rearranging all of this was very difficult. So I ended up by having to use the original pipe work and fiberglassing it to the to the new pipe work which came with the pump. It does look a bit rough, and I fully appreciate there's going to be people out there completely slating this, but it's not hot water that goes through. It's maximum of 35 degrees. It's not a customer's. It's not. I've not been paid to do this for anyone else. It's my own work. No one suffers, but it doesn't leak anyway. It's a very good job. It's held nicely and it does the job quite well. So for all those people out there who are going to make comments, yeah, I know it does look rough. It's one of those things, isn't it? But it works. So then it's trying to understand what happens in here, and what we're finding is that not only do you get quite a bit of noise from this, and I could insulate this box a bit better, but what we want to do is to possibly upgrade a lot of this, get rid of a lot of this pipe work, shrink it down, because I'm sure it doesn't have to be taking up quite so much space. I'd like to have a smaller control box just the other side on the back fence, so I can get rid of all of this here. So you can buy kind of boxes, all self-contained, which got the pumps, the heating elements, everything all built in. So you literally have water going in one end, water coming out the other, and then obviously any filtration goes alongside. So thinking maybe, can I just scrap all of this and just buy the new gubbins? The water pipes for the tub themselves, we've got 3. I'm not sure which way this works. I've got a feeling the water basically comes up through, would it be that first one? I think the water comes up through that first one, the far end by the wall, and then this one and this one, the water goes out. That's what I'm thinking. But I'm sure if we was to terminate those, put new connectors on, redo the pipe work, we could probably do a bit of a neater job. So that's just what we're thinking of doing, folks. So my question is there anyone out there who knows anything about this type of system? This isn't normally the sort of system you'd have in a hot tub. This is more of like a commercial type setup from what I've been told. We did have someone come around a while ago to give us a quote to do the repairs, but like I say, I've done it myself, saved a lot of money. So anyone out there who knows, what do you suggest? What do you recommend? What can we get rid of? Are there things here that we just don't need anymore? I'm sure possibly we don't need half as much as what's in here at the moment. So any advice would be greatly appreciated. So that's it really. Yeah, if we could get rid of this box, this control box here, and just have something smaller, maybe on this part of the garden, behind the tub, freeing up this space, because potentially it'd be nice to be able to stick a barbecue there. And it's just one of our other thoughts, another idea. Okay, well thank you for watching. Please, like I say, any ideas, any thoughts on the matter, drop me a comment down below. I'll be interested to see what happens. I think we're going to use this for a couple of months now as it is, and then after the summer's gone, we're going to look at doing some work to it to make a few alterations. But certainly this hot tub is here to stay, and it'd be nice to be able to get it working a little bit more, maybe a little bit more efficiently perhaps, who knows. Maybe there's a cheaper way of getting it working and heating up the water. That heating element is one we got from China. It's, I don't know, maybe it's not the best heating element we can have. I didn't really want more than 3 kilowatts to feed this system with. But obviously it takes longer to heat up. You can use a 7 kilowatt, uses more power, but it does it faster. So it swings around about, isn't it? Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you another time.